Game of Thrones Season 8 still seems like it's a little bit far away, but actually Christmas will be here before you know it, and then by, I say, the end of January, we will for sure have a final trailer for the final season of Game of Thrones. In this video, I want to switch it up a little bit. I've been focusing on leaks, and when I say leaks, as always, those are in air quotations and they're to be taken with a grain of salt, but I decided to switch it up and cover some legitimate leaks for Game of Thrones Season 8. So without any further ado, let's begin. Before we get started, please slap a like on this video as the like goal is going to be 427. Also, make sure you're subscribed and then turn your notifications on so that way you get alerted every single time I drop a Game of Thrones video throughout these long nights. Now, the first leak that I want to discuss in this video actually came to us from Watchers on the Wall. Now, they are a very credible source, and their website is linked down below in the description where you can go and check out all of the legitimate leaks for Game of Thrones Season 8. According to Watchers on the Wall, the cast and crew just wrapped a 55-night consecutively filmed battle. So this battle is going to be massive, probably the biggest thing that we've ever not only seen in Game of Thrones, but also in television history. The only thing that I think comes close to rivaling that was obviously the Battle of the Bastards back in Season 6. Now, not only do we have massive amounts of pictures from inside the actual filming set of Game of Thrones to back up these leaks, but actually the assistant director linked a picture of something that he sent out to the entire cast of crew, all of which who were involved with this massive 55-night long battle. He posted a picture of that letter that he sent out to the cast and crew on his Instagram. And that letter read, "This night is for the dragons, for enduring 55 straight nights, for enduring the cold, the snow, the rain, the mud, the sheep shit of Tomb, and the winds of Magarhormorny. When tens of millions of people around the world watch this episode a year from now, they won't know how hard you worked, they won't care how tired you were, or how tough it was to do your job in sub-freezing temperatures. They'll just understand that they're watching something that's never been done before, and that's because of you. Thank you, signed the producer types, Season 8 Game of Thrones." Now, obviously, with every single leak that comes out, there is a small percentage of chance this could be fake, and it's just completely nonsense. But it comes from an assistant director of the episode, and several people were set to receive this. We also have massive amounts of pictures from that battle. Now, according to Watchers on My Balls over on the Reddit/FreeFolk, he leaked a bunch of pictures from this battle. Now, according to these images, as I'm showing you right now, we can actually see that there are several different armies involved with this massive battle that's most likely going to take place at Winterfell. Not only do the dead show up at some point, but apparently the Golden Company arrives as well. Now, I do know that there's this big stigma almost that comes with the Golden Company, is like we're expecting to see war elephants, and sadly we did not see any of those, but those are going to be added in post-production. So anything that you think are missing from these images can easily be digitally rendered later on during the editing process. Now, another leak, and this was probably my most pondered upon one once it was released, we actually have images from the set that show Jon Snow and Cersei. Now, not only do we see a film crew filming behind Jon Snow and Cersei, but at one point they actually look out and smile at the camera. The fact that she smiles at the camera obviously makes these seem a little bit fake, but when you really start to think about it, it kind of makes the most sense. If there's this massive battle at Winterfell, the only place Jon Snow and his group or the survivors can go to put up some kind of good stance against the Night King and his army is King's Landing. So not only was Jon Snow picture filming, but there were several blurry images included what could potentially be Emilia Clarke and Peter Dinklage in the background. So when you really think about it, that Jon may not have anywhere else to go, he may have to suck up his pride, it kind of makes sense that he would go down south and attempt to seek aid with Cersei. Now, we do know that she sent her Golden Company up to Winterfell, but she honestly could have just flipped the tables around and said that she sent them to help Jon Snow when in fact they were sent there to kill him once the battle's done. And if Jon wasn't aware of this and they never got a chance to actually do this, then he would of course go down to Cersei and ask her for further assistance. Now, I know, that does seem like a bit of a stretch, but when you add in the fact of where these actors were seen, how long they were seen, it sort of makes sense. Kid Emilia, Dinklage, and Lena were all spotted filming around the time that these scenes were said to be filmed. Now, the last potentially legitimate leak that I want to discuss that has been released from Game of Thrones Season 8 involves Jaime Lannister. Now, I did briefly mention this in my The Fate of Jaime video, which you can check out down below in the description, and that'll send you a link straight to that video, but there is actually a sequence, and this was once again reported to us by Watchers on the Wall, the most legitimate site. Them and winteriscoming.net and Los Ciento Rios, those are the most legitimate when it comes to leaks with Game of Thrones Season 8. So honestly, anything they put out, I'm going to give way more credibility to. So according to Watchers on the Wall, this will happen in the 4th episode of Game of Thrones Season 8. And we'll see a scene in which Jaime Lannister and Brienne of Tarth are fighting White Walkers side by side in a snowy environment. They won't be going at it alone as they are surrounded by other soldiers. It's not clear what types of armor and which house these soldiers pledge allegiance to. But anyway, they are fighting the soldiers of the dead and they are leading the charge against the undead. According to Watchers on the Wall, the scenes with Brienne and Jaime were filmed at Maghermorny Green Screen, which is in Northern Ireland in Belfast, where they, in Titanic Studios, they film like, I'd say at least 75% of the actual season, especially when there's anything heavily involving a green screen. But there was a giant green screen on set with a mantle of snow, and it's flying in all directions. So it's definitely clear that this is taking someplace in the north, just for the fact that the heavy amounts of snow that were involved during filming. Another thing that adds a little bit of credibility to this is if you go back at the end of Season 7, you remember that conversation that Brienne and Jaime had. She basically told him to fuck loyalty and to do, whatever he has to do to bring them up north. So she's the reason why Jaime is in fact headed north. Now, we all saw him in the very last seconds of episode 7 of season 7 of Game of Thrones, which actually was over a year ago. We saw him heading north. So not only is this scene destined to take place, but it's actually confirmed just following along with the natural story of Game of Thrones. There was also a video that had surfaced on a now since deleted Reddit account that showed Jaime and Brienne during the battle. The video was so blurry it's actually hard to tell what it was, but Jaime Lannister's armor was the most recognizable, and it looked as though Brienne's stunt double was being used as well. So that person has since deleted their account, which of course raises lots of red flags and red alarms, but we kind of know this scene is going to take place, and also the time that the video surfaced lines up perfectly with when they were set to be filming these scenes. So those are just 3 of the biggest confirmed leaks in my opinion. If you guys want me to cover more, then obviously let me know down below in that comment section and I'll get started on those videos for you. Some of the other leaks have included massive amounts of weapons being added to the battlements outside of King's Landing. Now that's not necessarily a spoiler, but it is confirmed and will appear in Game of Thrones Season 8. Another, and this will be the last spoiler or confirmed spoiler that I'll talk about for this video. If you guys want me to do a video all out listing every single confirmed Season 8 spoiler, then let me know. And I've already actually gotten started on that video, so it should be up sometime next week. But still, leave me a comment and let me know how much you want that video. Either way, this was actually leaked by Los Siete Reinos, and the article goes on to state that there will be 600 plus extras who will participate in this scene, and they know that it's in King's Landing because the set is a rebuilt part of King's Landing is set to be set on fire. So they know for a fact that this is going to take a place down south. And also they said that men and women of all different races were going to be taking place in this. Now, not only do we see that most of this mock King's Landing set will in fact be burned, but there's actual video footage of the fire burning in King's Landing, and guess what, people? This timeline lines it up with July. That is right around the time they completely wrapped filming for all of Game of Thrones Season 8. So not only do we have confirmation of a massive battle that will take place up north that took 55 nights to film, but also there's a massive battle in King's Landing with over 600 extras. The fact that they are mentioned that these extras can be any race lets me know that these are some of the final moments of Game of Thrones, because we're going to have both camps, bad guys and the good guys, everyone who's still alive in the same place. So it would make sense to see races of all kind during this scene. Now, like I said, that timeline lines up perfectly with this being some of the final scenes that were shot for Game of Thrones in this iteration. I cannot wait until Game of Thrones Season 8 comes out. I want you guys to let me know down below what are some of your most favorite moments, or scenes rather, that you want to see go down in Game of Thrones Season 8. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you could please slap a like on this video. The like goal will be 420. Super special shout out to every single member of my Patreon family over on patreon.com/SirHuntsReviews. Super special thank you to Amberlyn McKay, Angel, Angie Delahanty, Ann Rain, Belladonna, Beth Anderson, Sierra Russell, Dave Gray, Enid, Elder Flores, Fred Wicks, Gaia Shadow, Helen Lostra, Joe Swag, John Barwick, Juliet402, Cater Tot, Lise, Lynn Shaw, Marilyn Miller, Mel of Winterfell, Mo Castillo, Nancy Toxstein, Queen Moni, Queen of Maine, Richard Huff, Ricky Lacey, Rocketman, Samantha Norris, Sir Fice Horsbane, Terry Melendez, the Bio Explorer, Tizania Vitali, Yubong A, and Vicon Stark. Without all of you all's love and support, these kinds of videos would not be possible. And also, I want to thank every single person for watching this video right now. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunts, bringing you real leaks, reviews,